Welcome to JGTCR. I'm Cope, and today we are tuning the Ford GT40 Mark 1. Let's get into it. In factory trim, this is a very easy vehicle to drive. It has long gears to wind out and not much in the way of torque, so wheel spin isn't really an issue. The handling is a bit lazy. The car feels slow moving both in straight lines and cornering. However, the pace is quite solid. The steering feels dull and a bit slow to respond, but it is easy to get used to. The power can feel sluggish as we get moving. However, it is strong in pull power. The power delivery is stellar. Big traction loss is rare, and when any wheel spin does occur, it is quite easy to get a hold of. The brakes work perfectly. Solid, stable braking all the way. Let's collect our time. Seven minutes, 38.2 seconds. And now, the race tune. This GT40 is an absolute dream to drive. Even when completely modified and untuned, it performs extremely well. There was not much needed on the tune side of things to get this Ford flying. The handling has been made a touch sharper and the front end a bit more solid. It could do with a touch more weight if it still feels a bit light for some. Another 10 to 20 kilos should suffice. The steering delivers accuracy and precision, although it can borderline on being dull when the rear hooks and we find the front end's limit. The power and power delivery are awesome. Both have plenty of oomph without being overwhelming. This Ford GT40 manages to wind through the gears with plenty of strength and a lot of traction, even when we are pushing hard. The brakes are very stable and solid all the way, although it can get a bit understeerish on full brakes. So a lift off to 90% braking gives us plenty of turning ability while slowing down. Let's collect our time. Six minutes, 25.3 seconds. And now the drift tune. This old school Ford GT is a natural drifter and just needs some refinement to make it a smooth drift experience. The handling can seem a bit on the lazy side when we first start drifting. However, we quickly get used to how this Ford likes to be driven, and soon enough we find the flow. The steering is fairly pointed but can become dull when we start pushing into the high RPM. The power available is strong but can bog down if revs get too low. It's best to stay in the upper half of the rev range. The power delivery is extremely reasonable. There is not much aggression at all. In fact, we will have to keep pushing considerably hard to stay in the drift zone. Fortunately, when we find that power band, the drift becomes golden. This Ford GT40 is a very reasonable drift car. However, it may be a bit too lazy for some. And that's all we have for you today, so until next time, keep racing!